Hey, what's up, parents, teachers, therapists, anybody else who's interested in helping kids with executive function challenges, kids who might be struggling in school and struggling to get important things done. And my name is Seth Perler, sethperler.com or executivefunctionlab.com. Now, I'm going to talk today about why to get an executive function coach. And it's probably not as complicated as you think, and it is probably more important than you might think. And then I'm going to tell you how to get one and how to think outside the box about how to creatively get one. So, why an executive function coach? 3 reasons and 3 tips on how. So, number 1 reason why to get an executive function coach is because executive function is a quality of life issue, literally. When we struggle with executive function, as I did as a young person, still do nowadays, but now I have a toolkit around it and I know how to execute when I need to. So now I have a fantastic life, but it's a quality of life issue. My quality of life, I really struggled for many years. Up until I was 21 or 22 years old, like things were just so hard. I was a failure to launch kid and I failed out of college twice. So it's just, and I almost failed out of high school. I felt horrible about myself. When we can't execute, it is a quality of life issue. There's a lot of unnecessary shame that comes with it because these kids are often very misunderstood and shamed, which is supposed to somehow motivate people. Obviously, it doesn't. So, anyhow, the first reason why to get an executive function coach is because it's a quality of life issue, because we want our kids to have the best quality of life possible. Number 2 reason to get an executive function coach is because we don't learn executive function through osmosis. There's such a big misunderstanding with these kids, and it doesn't matter if they're in 5th grade, if they're in college. Kids who struggle with executive function are very misunderstood, and it appears that other kids who are executing well, who are getting things done, the important things done, who know how to prioritize, focus, manage their time, plan, organize all these sorts of executive function things, it appears that they're just trying harder. They're not trying harder. They have been building those skills for years, whereas kids with executive function challenges have not. And it looks like these kids have just somehow through osmosis developed executive function skills, but they haven't. It's not osmosis. They've been practicing. So the problem is here is that they pick up on things that kids with struggling executive function don't. When the teacher says, hey, get out your planners and write this down, they're able to focus, they're able to do that. They've practiced that thousands of times by the time they're in 6th, 5th, 6th, 7th grade, whereas these other kids are just really doing the bare minimum just to kind of keep the teacher and their parents off their back and not look different and not feel shamed. And they're trying, but they're not getting the same quality of practice. So there's something called in the teaching world, there's something called direct instruction. And direct instruction is where somebody directly teaches you how to do something. Hey, here's how we're going to do this multiplication algorithm. And they're showing you step by step. Well, there's no direct instruction for executive function. So these kids that are picking it up through these little bits and pieces here and there, great for them. But these other kids who really needed direct instruction never got it. So an executive function coach can give them direct instruction. And number 3 is this third reason to get an executive function coach is that it helps normalize that people have executive function challenges. You wouldn't believe how many kids I work with that say, oh my gosh, I'm not the only one. I don't feel alone anymore. I don't feel like the only person who struggles with this. They get to see that other people have these same challenges. There's nothing wrong with these challenges. It's not a bad thing. So that is the number 3 reason why. Now, I'm going to tell you 3 tips on how to get one. The first tip I'm going to tell you on how to get one is to think outside the box. Think outside the box about who could be the coach. It could be you, although if you're the parent, your kid probably doesn't want to hear it from you. So it may be wise to get somebody who's not you. It could be a relative that you trust, that your kid likes. It could be a kid that's a little bit older than them. You know, if they're middle school, there might be a high schooler that they think is cool. That's a cool kid that you all know and like, and that it just has really strong executive function. They're not called an executive function coach, but you can hire them, you know, to come in a couple times a week and help your kid to get reorganized and plan and do executive function things that they're helping direct instruct them, and they're not called an executive function coach. It could be a tutor. It could be somebody at the school. It could be a para, a teacher, any number of people at the school. They don't even have to be called an executive function coach. So my first tip for getting one is to think outside the box. You can hire an executive function coach or a formal one, or you can get any number of other people who can help your kid learn the executive function skills. They don't need to be called an executive function coach. Number 2 tip for how to get one is to ask everyone you know. Ask everyone you know, like and trust, about if they have any good ideas for you to get an executive function coach, or you don't even have to use that word. If they can help you find somebody who's awesome with kids, who your kid will like and think is cool, and who can help your kid manage life and manage school. And my number 3 tip is to interview 3 or more people for this position. Okay. So let's say that somebody says, oh, this person's the best. And then another person says, oh, this company's the best. And another person says, oh yeah, this person, they're the best. They can really help you. They've helped my kid. Well, your kid is unique. Your kid is different. You know your kid best. Okay. So interview or talk with at least 3 people and involve your kid in that discussion, because you could get the one who's the best rated one in the world, the best one on Google, the best one in your community, and you find them and you're like, oh, I want to hire them. They're the best. And your kid doesn't like them. Your kid doesn't resonate with them. It doesn't matter if they're the best. If your kid doesn't like them, it's not going to do any good, or it's not going to do much good unless they're magic. So interview a few people. And what I like to tell people to do is, really, I want students to be working with someone that they like. They're going to get so much further with your kid if your kid likes them and has a good relationship with them and understands your kid and cares about your kid. So find somebody that your kid likes and that cares about your kid. And that's my thought for you. Like, interview at least 3 people, at least, and see, let your kid say, yeah, I like them. And you may think, well, they're not going to be as good. Doesn't matter. Just get somebody who your kid likes, that cares about your kid, that's going to help your kid. That's all I got for you. My name is Seth Perler, SethPerler.com. You can get freebies on my website. Go to executivefunctionlab.com if you want to check out the community and coaching and courses and all this other stuff. Have a fantastic day. I want to wish you peace of mind, joy in your heart, and connection with the people you care about, especially with the kids in your life. Take care.